What's up, YouTube? Poor.Mans.Podcast back with another video. Today's video is going to be, is pick me culture killing women's self-esteem? All right, before I get into the video, though, I got to do YouTube stuff. The goal is 25,000 subscribers by June. It's a crazy goal. It's a big goal, but it's my goal, all right? And the only way I'm going to get to my goal is if you give me the HBO special. Do you know what the HBO special is? That's the Help a Brother Out special, all right? So go on and help a brother out. Hit the like and the subscribe button for more content. I'm going to give y'all a second to do that. All right, now let's get to the video. Is pick me culture killing women's self-esteem? Let's see what they got to say.
Pick me.
No, pick me.
Pick me, I'm the one.
I make his plate.
I wash his clothes.
I roll over every time he taps me on my shoulder.
You may have noticed a growing trend on social media, and we are talking about pick me culture. I'm Shamika Sanders, and these are my co-hosts, Kiara Kelly and Africa Miranda. Pull up a chair because you are watching Listen to Black Women. The term pick me has been floating around social media for some time now, but it got a little exacerbated when Love and Hip Hop Miami star Amara La Negra posted a performative post on Instagram cleaning her man's bathroom. She was in like a Fashion Nova dress, and it sparked a whole bunch of backlash and a bunch of women talking about pick me culture. You may be asking yourself, what is pick me culture? Well, Sonia Eskridge wrote in a MadameNoir.com article, a pick me's motivation for shaming other women is men. Everything they do is centered around catching a man. All of which leads us to our question of the week. How do we stop perpetuating pick me culture? Ladies.
I think it's really important to differentiate between being a pick me and just naturally wanting to do things for your partner. Yes. Like if you want to naturally cook and clean because that's what you do, that's fine. The problem is when you get so concerned about what you're doing that you want to shame other women for it. Brandy Angler, who's a relationship psychologist, she told Time Magazine that the worry that we aren't good enough and that someone else is better leads to a hypervigilance around other women in general, which social media tends to make worse.
Okay, just to kind of get into that a little bit, women have to understand that you're going to have to be competitive in some arena, all right? And this is why I am almost convinced at this point that this kind of ideology, this feminist ideology, is basically a bunch of women that aren't attractive, getting upset that men don't find them attractive, hating men, and then convincing other women that are attractive to hate men as well. All right, society is based on hierarchies, all right? And there are just some people that are going to be better, all right? You see it in football. You see it in basketball. LeBron James is 6'8", all right? He's just better. It wasn't an even playing field. I'm 5'8". If I was to go against, if we just took it from birth with no training at all, LeBron James had a huge advantage in being an NBA star over me, okay? And it's going to be the same way for women. There are some women that are 10s. There are some women that are 9s, 8s, 7s, 6s. But the way you can scale up in that, the way you can get up a couple points is by showing. So if I'm a 6, all right, and I want to be seen as an 8, if I'm a woman, okay, show that I'm going to be willing to do what other women aren't willing to do. Show that I'm willing to do housework. Show that I'm willing to cook. Show that I'm willing to at least try to stay fit. All right, and it's crazy that you can see someone that wants. That says I'm willing to do chores and cook and clean, that's seen as pick me, but a woman who can post her butt online isn't seen as a pick me. What do you think a woman is doing when she is posting her butt online? What do you think that's saying to the world? But as soon as it takes some effort, instead of you just taking pictures of your butt, as soon as you gotta cook or clean that's pick me culture. We don't want to have nothing to do with that, right? Women, you are in competition for male attention. That's all it is. That's the game. It's always been the game. Some ladies are willing to go to great lengths, wear corsets, foot binding, do plastic surgery, have their body literally cut to shape exactly how they want to meet the standards of beauty that men love. That's not seen as pick me, right? But if you cook and clean, that's seen as pick me. How is that even logical? It's always the thing that takes the least amount of effort is what everybody wants to do. As soon as it takes a little effort, you got to keep your weight down. You got to cook and clean and do regular chores, take care of children. That's pick me culture now. Let's continue the video.
So on social media, you see women really touting their accomplishments. Like, I work a full-time job and I cooked and cleaned the entire house. That's how you keep a man. And that's the problem. Sis, if you want to do all that, all
That's how you keep
good.
a
But
man.
you do not have to put down other women to validate how you want to perform in your relationship. You also see women justifying cheating, saying, if you keep it right, get it tight, that's gonna keep your man.
And in pop culture, we see pick-me behavior all the time. And now we just have a name for it. We saw Remy Ma on State of the Culture. She was talking about it's okay to cheat as long as you're not married. And I'm just like, out of these old black hood
Right,
narratives
like, what are you
that we
talking
get into, that
about?
we have been just trained, it's been embedded in us. I think about Aisha Curry, who is like the quintessential wife to every guy out there. She posted on Twitter about how she just likes to dress more conservative. And Amara La Negra, starting that whole conversation around her cleaning her man's bathroom. Sis, if you want to clean your man's bathroom, do you, boo-boo? Don't tell me about cleaning my man's bathroom. That's not going to get me a man.
Yeah, the performing has just gotten out of hand. Like, some women have even taken it so far that they're buying their own engagement rings and buying gifts to show this like illusion, that their man is doing all these things. Because again, pick me is about performance. It's about saying, hey, look at me. And I just feel like it's gone so far that women are expected to excel at work and then come home and I've got to clean your house because then that's a reflection of how good your woman is, and cook your food, have sex, raise these kids, be perfect. It's too much. Like, when do black women get a break? Like, girl, let yourself off the hook. Like, it's okay.
So let's take it to these social media streets and see what people are tweeting about. Deanna Cooley tweeted, "Don't see why girls let themselves go when you're in a relationship. Hashtag keep your man." Sis. That is quintessential pick-me narrative.
Because that's all it takes.
Yeah, I mean, God forbid you eat an extra M&M, okay?
See, and this is what we can't do. God forbid you eat an extra M&M, as if that's what's happening. On average, women in the first year of marriage gain 7 pounds, okay? 7 pounds in the first year of marriage. If you want to show that you are trying to continue your marriage and that you aren't just complacent in the fact that you got the ring, because a lot of people just want the ring. They don't want the marriage. A lot of people just want the big show. They say, look at me, ha, ladies, look, I got a ring and you didn't. And then they go home, okay? Because it is a peak of a lot of women's lives. But you have to understand what you signed up for is a marriage, all right? Not a wedding. You signed up for a marriage. And in that marriage, part of that is going to be staying attractive to your man. Y'all know men or women are visual creatures. That's agreed upon on all spectrums. Women agree, men agree that men are visual creatures. So why are you gaining 7 pounds in the first year of your marriage if you feel like you want to stay attractive to your man? Only 5% of men find obese women to be attractive. Those are the numbers. All right, so you working your way all the way up into obesity, talk about one M&M. Nah, you trying to make it ain't one M&M. Who are we kidding? All right, so if you want to say, or if you want to try your best to make a relationship or a marriage work, maintaining your body, male and female, staying attractive to your partner, dress up sometimes, go out on a limb and make yourself try to look good for your partner sometimes. That's okay. All right, that's part of the game. That's part of the marriage. You have to stay attractive. And one of the best things about black women in particular is you have the option of diversity. You, with your hair especially, you can do so many different things with your hair and the different looks, and so versatile in the colors you can wear, and the outfits you can wear put together. So there really is no excuse to not trying to be attractive to your man if you're a woman, all right? Especially if you really want your relationship or your marriage to work. Let's continue the video.
Now you lose your whole relationship, and then he deserves to go do. What if he puts on weight? All this onus on the woman. It's never about
It's always
the
on
man.
us. It's never on them.
Men
There
can
was
put on
also
weight
this
because
social
women don't
media
care. They're not
craze that
visual
happened,
creatures.
and it's
that
on this
simple.
hashtag
Sorry, I
tweet
had
like
to
a pick
jump
me.
in.
So we actually have the pick me's, and then we have some people who were tweeting like pick me's. For Devin's sake, tweeted, "All that education is making y'all self-sufficient. A real woman doesn't need to read anything but her man's nonverbal communication. Anticipate his needs and meet them before he asks. But y'all keep having opinions and all that education and stay single. Hashtag tweet like a pick me."
That is what so many people tweet. That's all this, like, you see it all over social media. Like, oh, you have so much to say, all these black women, and they're feminists. I love that the hashtag pick me is now a thing, because now we can see who you are.
And we have one more from Forever Quell. "I allow my man to cheat anytime he wants because at the end of the day, he's my man. You can send a child to daycare, but at the end of the day, they still have to go home to their real parents.
Again, they're joking, but they wouldn't be able to make these jokes if people weren't actually tweeting things that were very close to it. People have taken this whole thing of like being your man's piece to the nth degree. Like being his piece means you don't have an opinion, you hold him down. And like, I feel like it's like all of that mixed with like a dash of hotep. You put it in like a nice little stew and you have a good little pick-me situation.
Let's move on to the receipts. Kiara, what do the polls say?
As always, we polled our Madame Noir audience to find out what you all think about pick-me culture. We asked, who's most at fault when a man cheats? With 99% of you luckily saying the man, okay? Because pick-me's will be out here being like, well, sis, he cheated because you weren't sucking him good enough, or he cheated because you put on some pounds.
99% of women say
the person
that
who is
means
responsible
that
for cheating,
not...
if a man is cheating on you, it's his fault. We also asked, do hoes deserve to be wives? With 83% of saying yes, everybody deserves love.
Some of y'all lying. There would be no pick-me culture if 83% believed that.
And pick-me culture.
See, here's the problem: is they're polling probably women. Okay, mostly women are gonna watch this show, and that's who they're polling. There's a huge discrepancy on sexual promiscuity being accepted in relationships. When you ask women, there was a poll done. I believe it was tens of thousands of men and women that were polled. But there was a huge discrepancy. When you ask women, do you think that being sexually promiscuous has now been accepted in relationships? I think it was 80 or 72% of women, somewhere in that range. I'll have to pull it up again, but I believe it was 72% of women said that they believe that sexual promiscuity for women is starting to be accepted in relationships by men. Okay, and I believe that when the poll asks men, do we actually accept sexual promiscuity in our girlfriends, I think it was only 23% of men agreed. All right, so if you ask mostly women, do HOEs or 304s deserve to be in relationships or marriage? Yeah, 83% is going to say, yeah, they do. Everybody deserves love. But if this poll would have been asked by, or if this poll would have been answered by men, that rate would have been about 23%. And the remaining 77 would have said that it ain't happening. All right, because men still are not accepting sexual promiscuity, and we could go down the line of why. We kind of already know. I've covered it in my other videos, but it ain't gonna be acceptable no time soon, ladies. That and the weight thing, those are two things you can preach all day and put on TV, that men should love this and men are bad if they don't like this and that. We don't care. We will never accept women who have been with an absurd amount of partners, and we will never accept women who are morbidly obese. It's that simple. I'm sorry. Let's continue the video.
Culture can go either way, because you can have women who are more sexually expressive, shaming the women who might be a little more prudish and being like, well, if you were doing this and this in the bedroom, you would have kept your man. Right. Then on the other side, you have the women who may be a little more sexually conservative, shaming the women who are out there saying, well, if you weren't so out there, you probably would be married. Either side, it does not matter.
Pick me lines. I'm a lady in the streets and a freak in the sheet.
Oh my gosh, I just realized that's a pick me line. It is. Everybody used to say that so much back in the day. We were sitting here happily being pick me's.
Happily. Well, that's why I think pick-me's have, like, the pick-me culture has been here. Now we just have a name for it. Because, I mean, I'm Southern. So, like, if there is anything as a Southern woman you've been raised to be, it's kind of pick me. And that actually brings us to our next conversation segment. And there's a writer for the blog, Black Women Cry, and she gives her personal views on this whole pick me culture. And she basically says that pick me's are women who are conditioned to internalize misogyny and changes their behavior to fit the narratives of a sexist society. What you've done is basically saying all this messaging that I've received my whole life, that women are less than and that we've got to dance to get a man, you're now saying, you know what, I'm going to own that, I'm going to put it on, and I'm going to down you, I'm going to down you, and I'm going to down any woman that doesn't fit into this like performative version of femininity. And it's so damaging.
These ideals were formulated so long ago. Gender roles have changed so much, where, you know, back in the day, it was the man did the physical labor, the woman stayed and tended to the house and the children. But women, we are working just as much as men these days. So these pick-me ideals, they just don't work anymore.
And there should be equality, because again, I don't mind fixing a plate. I don't mind like folding clothes. Totally fine with doing that. But I will absolutely do it for a partner that I know will fix my plate or will do something else for me. And I think that's what's lost, is that I'm not going to down you if you choose not to do it. Black women, check yourselves. Like, why? What is this thing about us that we feel like we've got to judge another woman so harshly about what they're doing?
Is it also something rooted in religion?
I would absolutely say that's a part of it, because I mean, look at our marriage vows, look at what religion says. Like, it says that a woman is inherently below a man. It's very pervasive that we go back to that. And a lot of Christianity has been really kind of tweaked and turned and twisted to fit patriarchy.
Oh
Ladies,
my
another
God, this
insightful
is so
question.
sad.
But Kiara, what did we learn? Can you sum it up for us?
Stop shaming other women. If you want to cook, clean, do whatever for your man, that's totally fine. But we just want it to be an autonomous decision. Do it for yourself. The only man that's going
Okay, this seems to be in the video. I'm gonna go ahead and get my final thoughts on the video. Ladies, this is actually sad to see. Okay, why is it that we promote this lifestyle of independence amongst women, but as soon as a woman wants to come and be dependent on a man, her freedom of choice isn't respected? Okay, women can go online all day and say, "Oh, chase a bag, sis. I don't give a damn about a man. I don't need no man. This and that," and get 150 likes. But if a woman says, "I need a man. This is what I'm willing to do for my man," and are willing to compete for a man because they understand that good men are really hard to find in society nowadays. Good people really are hard to find in today's society. So if you want one, you do have to present yourself as a person that's willing to go work for that. Okay? And so when those women go and present themselves as a person that's willing to do more for their men and separate themselves from all the rest of the women, they're now a pick me, because that's what they want. Ladies, you will go to school for 4 years, okay? Get a crazy degree, sometimes 5 or 6 if you don't know what you want to do and you want to just sit and live in this college life. You're willing to do that. You're willing to go to job interviews, get dressed up, be presentable, be on time. All right, be stressed out if you don't get the job, and really compete for your job, okay? All right, and that's your freedom of choice. You can do that. But when a woman wants to put forth that same effort to get a man, don't try to make it seem like she's doing the wrong thing, because she understands what she wants. All right, the one thing about fulfillment when it comes to life and towards the middle of it, I guess that's still at the beginning, but when you're in your 30s, one thing about life, what it seems to appear to be, because I'm only 25 so far, but from what I've observed is you go to work and you get paid to work because you don't want to do it, right? You get paid to work because if you had the time, you wouldn't work. You would do something else, right? But taking care of children, you don't need to get paid for it because it's that fulfilling in your life. It makes you feel that much better about life that it doesn't even require you to get paid for it, okay? So when you talk about what is the most fulfilling for women in terms of what makes them the most happy when they're in their 30s, okay? In these crucial years, it seems that motherhood makes people generally more happy. So when a woman wants to compete for that motherhood, I don't think that it's right for women to put a tag on them and say that they're a pick me or this and this and that, simply because they're willing to compete for what they want. Ladies, competition is real. All right, everybody ain't gonna get a participation medal, okay? There's a lot of ladies that aren't gonna get chosen, and you posting your butt online, that's the same thing as a woman saying that I'm willing to cook and clean. Just so you know, that's pick me culture, quote unquote. All right, so it's just really sad to see that some women aren't really. They say they want freedom of choice amongst women and equality with that freedom of choice, but as soon as a woman exercises her freedom of choice and chooses to be a housewife, it's kind of oppressed, it's kind of shamed, it's kind of downed, and that's a little sad to see, because we need more women that are willing to be housewives. Let's just be completely honest about the situation. Till next time.